welcome back to another episode of Why I Love BNI, your podcast spotlighting different business owners in BNI on what they love about their business, their BNI group, and other tips for us newer BNI members to learn. So today, our guest is Rebecca. Rebecca, thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. Well, Rebecca actually met my dad on one of the BNI regional roundtables on Zoom last week, and I heard it was just an incredible event. I'm so sorry I missed it. So it really goes to show you should mark those on your calendar as soon as possible, because I know here in our region, BNI Northeast Florida, we always get an email every Monday on upcoming events and stuff like that. So Rebecca is a member, and she's also the president of her BNI chapter. Is that right?
That's right. Yes.
That's incredible. That's a really big role. So huge hats off to you for making that happen. Well, I'd love for you to kick us off and tell me just a little bit about what you do and your journey into kind of finding what you want to do
With BNI, you mean?
with your business.
Oh, with my business. Okay. So as you can see behind me, I am the owner of the Poppin Box Gourmet Popcorn Shop in St. John's, Florida. And this is our busiest time of the year. And behind me is just orders that are waiting to be picked up. We have over 65 flavors of gourmet popcorn that we make all by hand here in our shop. We make homemade fudge, specialty candies, pretzels, turtles, which are chocolate, caramel, pecans, all of that. We have hundreds of tins. I'll just turn my camera. You can see a little bit of these are all of the tins that are being picked
Wow.
up. Yeah, I mean, it just keeps going and going and going. All of these boxes. We actually meet in BNI here. And you
Oh,
can
wow.
see we just had a chapter that finished meeting here this morning. So it's kind of a little hairy trying to set up for a BNI chapter meeting here. And then as soon as the meeting's over, then we flip that gear and then get into popcorn work gear. So yeah, we do branding bags here for businesses, which is very unique, where we can take your business logo, put it on a bag, and match the popcorn colors to your logo. And
Wow.
instead of you just passing out a business card, we give you the opportunity to pass out a little bag of popcorn with your logo, your name, your email address, your website, anything like that. And people are going to pay attention to you a lot more when you give them a gift of gourmet popcorn than just your business card. And, science proves that smells and taste trigger memory.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say, if your logo was blue and white and you give someone a bag of popcorn of blueberry and vanilla, next time they eat something that's blueberry, they're going to think, there is this young lady that brought me some popcorn. What did she do? Oh, she was into marketing. And it's going to make them think of you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just something unique that we do that helps you set yourself apart from your competitors. And that has been super successful with people in several BNI chapters.
That's so cool. I actually know a lady in our chapter. She does a lot of cold knocking and cold calling, right? And so she does popcorn, and it might not be like specifically, but she'll bring a bag of popcorn and she goes, "Hey guys, I'm just popping in to say hi and introduce myself." So the way that you said, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I know someone who is in that realm and does something like that. And I know she's had a lot of fun doing that as well. I'd love to know. So first off, what can you remind me which BNI chapter are you with?
I'm in BNI Networth.
Networth. Oh, that's a great name. I'd love to know what introduced you to BNI. Who was the first person to introduce you? What brought you there in the first place?
Great question. So 6 years ago, we moved to Florida from Oklahoma, and Jacksonville is just such a huge area. And I knew I needed something to make this big area a little smaller for me. And at that point, I was a sales director with Mary Kay. And I knew I had to find something to be able, I've always been in networking groups before. And then my husband and I have moved for his job. Florida was our fifth state to live in 20 years of marriage. And so I knew I had to find something to plug into. And actually, our realtor was in BNI, and she invited me to BNI. And I was her guest, and I came twice, and there was no one else in the skincare industry in BNI Networth. And so I saw the value of it immediately. And even though it was expensive, expensive financially, because I was an independent, I didn't have a company to pay,
Right.
my tuition, to say. The Apple or whatever, the what is it, the pay over time thing was really helpful, and that's what I had to do. I was so thankful that BNI does offer that. I was able to make that money so quickly with BNI that it did not affect, I mean, the payment was not an issue. So BNI was such a value to me. And so I carried that seat of the Mary Kay seat until we bought this business 3 years ago from the founders, because
Mm,
Poppin Box is not a chain or a
mm,
franchise or anything like that.
wow.
We were customers here, and the founders are ready to retire and move to Georgia, and they asked us if we would buy it and grow it. And so I changed my seat to the Poppin Box, and that has really, really has what's blown the top off of this business is being in BNI. Because
Wow.
people didn't know this business existed.
That's incredible. I've heard so many amazing success stories where people are like, yeah, I really wanted to join BNI, but obviously there's there's an entrance fee and everything like that. And there's the what's it called? Is you said tuition, and now my brain can't stop thinking about
Uh,
tuition. So I'm sure you're right. And we'll just say that there's like a specific room, like like room fees and stuff, like those add up. But so many people, yeah, like within my first week, my first 2 weeks in BNI, it paid for itself. Before I joined BNI, it paid for itself. Like one of those things it's always so cool to hear. So it sounds like you've been in BNI for about 4 to 5 years, if I'm
Six.
6. Okay. Wow. And now you're the president of your chapter. How is that for you taking on that new leadership role?
Well, immediately, I was in the chapter for probably 4 months, and they threw me into being the education coordinator. Um, so I was the education coordinator for 5 years. And then last February, our president stepped down because he lived in Orange Park, and
Oh.
he had to cross the bridge. And I don't live on the other side of the bridge, but evidently traffic is really bad. And if there's a wreck, it could be forever. Anyway, there was a position in BNI, a chapter in closer to home that opened for him, and he transferred there. So I got voluntold that I was going to be president last February. And then I was selected to continue that role. So I've been president for almost a year and a half now, and
Oh.
I absolutely love it. It really just, I was a director with Mary Kay for 21 years. So it kind of correlates with what I've done for 21 years of leadership and um, growing, growing my unit with Mary Kay, of growing our chapter here. We did grow to over 5 new new chapter members, which we hit that recognition at leadership, our conference thing,
Mm-hmm.
and we got a lot of recognition, a lot of awards, and that was really fun at our conference.
Wow, that's a huge, pat on the back. I don't know if sometimes people realize how much work it is to add those types of members. And what's really important for every BNI chapter is you really want to find the right members for your chapter and for your group. And people can go, oh, well, that's only 5, but I think that's a huge bonus to any chapter is finding those 5 really great people. What kind of tips would you have as someone who's been in BNI for about 6 years, who's been a president for over a year, which is incredible? What kind of tips would you have us for us newer members for, either hacks or just staying in the green or anything like that?
Um, don't get away from having your one-to-ones.
Mm,
If you will actually have your one-to-ones, I know it's so hard. We get so busy. But if you will have a one-to-one, actually everything else will fall into place. Because when you have a one-to-one every week, you're going to find out about your fellow chapter members. And then it's going to be easy to give the referral because the referrals will come. Oftentimes, that's where people struggle with, oh, I can't find anybody to give a referral to. Well, it's because you don't know about the people. You don't know what they're looking for. But when you have that one-to-one, it's so easy. You will find very easily who they are looking for. You'll be surprised the little niche of who, like we've got a junk person in our group. And you may think, oh, well, they just do junk removal. You
oh,
have no idea what other kind of stuff they can do until you sit down with them for just an hour. And
mm-hmm,
oh my goodness, I had no clue they could even help me. So have
right.
those to ones because that will get you that one-to-one that will help you with the referral. And the CEUs, it is so easy to get a CEU. If you go to one round table, that cuts your CEUs for the whole month.
Mm-hmm,
You can't get away in for your lunch break for that. Everybody's in the car for at least an hour a week.
right.
Stick it on while you're driving or listen to it while you're getting ready. But just my goal is to be in the green. It actually used to be in the hundred. I did win a little plaque for being 100% in the 100% club every single month of the year.
Amazing.
So just always be in the green. Just do your one, 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 one. You can do
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And it's really funny. So I've been in BNI about a year, but when I started BNI, I was really new in my business. And so they obviously asked the very valid question of like, hey, how she's young and she's new in her business, like, can she really succeed in this BNI chapter? And they did give me a chance, especially because, my dad's a business coach, and they were like, oh, I'm sure her dad has been in business for 20 years. He's not gonna, make her do nothing. You know what it is. Anyways, so fast forward a year later, and for probably about the last 2 months, I think I've given at least 10 referrals a week. And
Wow.
it's because a huge part of that. Thank you. And a huge part of that is because I do so many one-to-ones, and just even one or two one-to-ones, I can get 12, 10 referrals because I'm just constantly talking to people with the podcast and otherwise. So I'm always able to connect other business owners. And that's why I always asking, like, what are great business owners I can refer to you? That's who I know. That's where I'll succeed in connecting you. And you never know what people tell you. Like someone's like, oh, I'm a therapist, but I work really well with attorneys. Who would have thought that? Like no one's really thinking of attorneys when they think of therapists, but because I had that one-to-one, she told me, and it was really great to learn. So you never know, and I know that's a big thing. Is like I don't think I have any referrals to give just because you're not really looking hard enough. We all know someone who could use something.
That's right.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, Rebecca, thank you so much for coming on, spending a few minutes with me. I really appreciate it. You have an amazing business. This is one of like the fun ones to promote on BNI, on the podcast, everything like that. I'm sure everyone just has like a great time when you do your however long, like 30 to 60 seconds, however long your presentation is every week. So again, thank you so much for coming on and sharing those amazing tips. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Macy.
Of
You need to
course.
come down to the shop and taste some of our popcorn. We give free samples of all of our popcorn and our fudge. And would you like to have a quick peek into Willy Wonka?
Yeah, let's do
All right. So you saw all the mess of the workroom, but
it.
I'm going to show you the prettiness of what the shop really looks like.
Wow. That's incredible.
As they shot it out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history.
That's awesome.
So y'all come down to see us, and then we will give you all the samples of popcorn and fudge you could ever want.
That's amazing. I'm from Detroit, and they're like, no, they're very serious about their fudge in Michigan. So I'm excited. It's kind of like in my blood, even though I'm not even that much of a fudge person. But it's still something that strikes really close to home. So thank you again, Rebecca, for showing us as well. I really appreciate it. I'll make sure I have all of Rebecca's information in the description so you can click, copy, and paste, go look them up, and go drive up there or drive down, wherever it is for you
There
guys.
you are.
So thank you again, Rebecca. I appreciate it. And to everyone watching, I really appreciate you as well. And I'll see you next time. Bye.